Easier, worry-free way to retire at the Village at St. Barnabas. Come visit us for a free and informative counseling session and personal tour.
I can't believe you waited so long.
I can't believe you waited so long.
Visit stbarnabashealthsystem.com or call 724-443-07.
You're listening to 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Come to Chicago. Come to Chicago, where the Democrats are currently having their convention. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Thinking Logically. I'm your host, Joseph Anthony Corsai. Mr. Gordy is out on assignment, but with us in studio, as always, is our producer, Ryan.
Good evening. How you doing today, Joe?
I'm great. Ryan, 17 days from the NFL season.
Yes.
22 days until we see another presidential debate. We got baseball playoffs coming up in a month, although it doesn't look like it's going to be a Bucktober.
It's not looking that way.
They kind of fell apart, the Bucks, at least the last few weeks, like Joe Biden did in late June. It was late July, early August for them, flying high in the playoff run, hunt at least with a decent rotation. Now, like Joe Biden, just sad to watch.
Yeah, there was a 10-game stretch, Joe, and I called it. I said once they play these 10 particular games, it's not going to be good for the Pirates, and sure enough, here they are. I think you could.
They went 0-10, I think.
They did. It was those 10 particular games, and you could pretty much stick a fork in them now. As much as it pains me to say that, they're done.
Done.
It takes a lot to get back into it, you know?
Yeah, it does. There's only 40 games left.
Yeah.
But not much time left in the baseball season. Not much time left in the presidential election season. And that brings us to our first topic. First topic, obviously, today is going to be what happened yesterday in good old Beaver County. But before I even dive into it, I have to ask, the Harris campaign, why do they call it a bus tour? They flew in, got on a bus, traveled a couple miles on the bus, gave a speech, made a stop or two. I think they were down, with the quips. Then they got on a plane and flew to Chicago. Do people really believe the Kamala Harris campaign is riding around in a bus going from town to town all across the country, kissing babies, pressing the flesh, and getting to know people and their concerns? Are they even doing that in the state of Pennsylvania, let alone the country? No! Even that is a lie. So why the bus? Why not just fly in? I don't know. Anyway, let's get to the fake bus tour and what went through deep blue Beaver County, I guess you could say, yesterday. Props to the GOP Beaver County Instagram page and whoever runs that, and everyone there in the GOP Beaver County for posting the time and location of where Kamala and her fake bus tour would be in Rochester. They posted, "Bring your Trump gear in peaceful protest and stand along the streets." That's what they posted on their Instagram account. See, take note. This is how we're going to do it. Don't let these people that have been destroying our country the last 3 years just drive down the street. We can't let them. Gather up and make it known how you feel. There's nothing illegal about that. There's nothing wrong with that. So great job, Beaver Countyans. Also, shout out to Allegheny County and Moon Township. Ryan, did you see Harris's last stop? One of the last stops was Permane Brothers and Moon, the crowd there.
Yeah, I think that people were a little perturbed by what went down there, Joe. They had Permane's had cleared all the customers out, so of course Kamala and her people could go in, and that's what I'm hearing from that. Was just people are ticked. They're
Hey, food for them, not for you.
We are the hardworking people.
Yeah.
We're sitting
Get
down
out of here,
eating.
you surf.
Right.
Medieval time. They're bringing back medieval serfdom now. And she was also greeted, though, by a host of Trump supporters literally right outside there. You see how this works? Look how many people showed up to support Kamala Harris in Rochester versus how many people showed up to, quote, let her know how they really feel. After seeing scenes like that, how can you say Harris will decisively win Allegheny County? Take me, for instance. I'm a pretty big MAGA guy. Ryan, am I telling any tales outside of school here? I'm a pretty big MAGA guy, I'd say.
Yeah,
Trump supporter.
You are what you are. What you heard in the air, that is Joe.
I did not go to Rochester. Didn't go. I mean, it was kind of at the drop of the hat. But what kind of presents did we see from MAGA? Again, I wasn't there. If I wasn't there, what kind of people are going? I mean, keep in mind, I'm sure there were some Harris supporters there. I'm just saying they probably had a bigger heads up she was coming. Okay? At the drop of a hat, we had a pretty big MAGA crowd there to just let this administration know how they feel during an election year. If you were there and you'd like to call it and tell me or us about the atmosphere or anything at all, the number to call in is 724-843-1888. Again, 724-843-1888 or 724-774-1888. Oh, and also, shout out to the Rochester Smokehouse. Someone sent me this on, I think it was Facebook. I guess they caught some flack on social media, Facebook somewhere, because they allowed Trump supporters in their parking lot. What a crime. Which was across the street from where Kamala was going in the DNC in Rochester. Can you blame them? As a small business, you have a lot of skin in the game these days, especially when one side's talking about controlling the prices of food. We got some audio here. Listen to Kamala talk about, I don't know when this is from. Maybe it was last week, talking about price gouging. Ryan, play that audio when you get a chance.
And I will work to pass the first ever federal ban on price gauging on food. Price gauging on food.
A federal ban on what? What? Price gauging? Gauging food? The hell does that mean? It would be funny if this wasn't an episode, or if this was an episode of Veep on HBO, but it's real life and it's our country. Price gauging. Ryan, do you have a PhD in economics? We need to figure this one out.
I do not, but it seems pretty cut and dry to me.
Is it price gagging? Maybe she meant to say. I mean, maybe because that's not a sexual reference. I'm just saying every time I check out at a grocery store, I want to puke at the total that I see.
And
so
that is
maybe it's
accurate.
price gagging. I don't know. Jeez. Now, price gouging. She's got me all mixed up now. Now, price gouging, it's a well-known term in economics. Price gauging, however, I'm not sure what that exactly is. Here's what's happening. She's reading from a teleprompter. So that's not just like a gaffe where she said the wrong word, but she has no idea the topic. She doesn't know. She knows absolutely nothing about it. She doesn't know if it's gauging, gouging, gagging. She doesn't know because she doesn't know the vocabulary. We've seen her do this before. She needs to go back to just laughing awkwardly at awkward moments. Just laugh. Go back to that when you don't know what you're talking about. But this is going to continue to happen. She's going to misread the teleprompter every time she's talking about something she's clueless on, which, in case you're just paying attention, it's all the time. It's every day. So not only are these policies awful, but she's clueless on how they really work. I mean, did you see what she said about giving first-time homebuyers $25,000 just for buying a house and having a pulse? Ryan, when you get a chance, play the $25,000 for free money for first-time homebuyers audio.
The administration will provide first-time home buyers with $25,000 to help with the down payment on a new home.
Are we going to get candy thrown at us next or something? A friend of mine, a listener, pointed this out to me. He said he would buy a house for $25,000 and then immediately sell it to a relative, a first-time home buyer, and just keep doing this.
Hey.
I mean, they could put a stipulation in there that you can't do that, but regardless if they do or don't, how does this help poor Americans? A down payment assistance doesn't address the affordability problem of a house when you're paying $700 a month in groceries, or probably more if you ever dare to eat out anymore. Jeez. Let's go over what happened. And this isn't Kamala's fault. I guess you could blame the Federal Reserve since they're an independent entity. Interest rates were raised, making buying a home more expensive. So to counter this, Kamala's plan is taking money from one person and giving it to another. I believe that is Kamalaism? Kamalulism? Where in the world is that $25,000 going to come from? All the people that pay back their student loans? I don't know. Again, just like price
We'll have
gauging,
plenty of time to think about this, Joe, and we're not retiring one day.
we're going to be working forever. They'll be willing us in here. That's all we'll say.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, just like with price gouging, whatever it is, they got me all mixed up. They want total control. It's just no matter what they do, they can't come up with their own original ideas, so they try to either then copy. Take the child tax credit. Do you have kids? Are you familiar with the child tax credit?
Yes.
I just became familiar with it in the last year or two because I just had a kid. But J.D. Vance, if anyone remembers that's listening, a few weeks ago said that there should be a $5,000 tax credit per child to incentivize Americans to have more kids. And then people called him a crazy, he's gotten the cat lady and now this. He called people cat lady and now this. Media hated on him for it. What happened literally, I think it was 10 days later. Kamala releases a proposal for a $6,000 tax credit per child, and the media clapped like seals over it. Ryan, question.
Yes.
Should I run for president and offer a $7,000 tax credit for parents?
Hey, if that's going to make people clap and get, so you're going to get the support, right?
What's the show at Bob Barker where you can't go over?
Price is Right.
Once the price is right, I guess. $7,000 could be it. But again, according to the media, a few weeks ago, $5,000 in child's tax credits was... That would add trillions to the national debt. But now $6,000, that's a better idea.
You can't make this stuff up.
Some of the headlines, hold on, let me read some of the headlines. I actually had to screenshot them because they will go back and edit the headlines. From CBS News, J.D. Vance wants a $5,000 child tax credit or 150% more than the current CTC. Here's what to know. Also from CBS News, J.D. Vance said he wants to boost the child tax credit to $5,000 per child from its current $2,000, an effort that can add trillions in federal spending, according to policy experts. Oh, you got to throw in the experts in there. It's absolutely amazing to me. So when asked about any new policy, anything like this, Kamala referred to the tax credits. Play the audio of Kamala going off script, I guess you could say. Finally, giving a journalist some airtime and answering a question. Play that whenever you get a chance, Ryan.
And can you give us a sense of what other policies you want to unveil?
Sure. Well, you just look at it in terms of what we are talking about, for example, around children and the child tax credit and extending the EITC. It's at $6,000 for the first year of the child's life. The return on that investment in terms of what that will do and what it will pay for will be tremendous. We've seen it when we did it the first year of our administration. We reduced child poverty by...
Okay, I can't take her anymore. I'm reclaiming my time on this one. Jeez. Her answer to the question. Tax credits and stuff. And returns on investment with children. What does that even... It's all about the kids. She said like a word salad of every single presidential line that you deliver at the podium when you're at the debate and it's your last 2 minutes. What is this? She's stealing more ideas, number one, because the child tax credit is a Republican policy. Ryan, what if I told you it was doubled? I forget what it was before, but it was doubled or close to it under the Trump tax bill in 2017. So what was they complain and cry with it then? Now they want $6,000? I know inflation's bad, and I'm not complaining, but you're just stealing ideas.
Yeah.
Like I said, the campaign of hers is nothing but lies and stolen ideas, which, it's why it's actually no surprise she picked Tim Walz as a running mate, because all he does is lie. Remember, this guy lied and said he was deaf pretty much to get out of a DUI. I looked into that story. He was pulled over, listen to this is Tim Walz, for doing 96 in a 55. His blood alcohol level was a 0.13, which is almost double the legal limit, but I guess back then, in whatever state it was, I think the blood alcohol was, the legal limit was 0.1. Does that make sense? Instead of 0.08?
Yeah.
Okay. Because again, you're talking about 30 years ago. So what happened after that? He was allowed to plead guilty to reckless driving. His campaign manager at the time said the drunk driving charges were dismissed because there was no proof he was drunk. She said he was not drunk. He failed the field sobriety test only because of hearing problems and couldn't understand the trooper. So I had to dig even deeper into the story, and I don't know if it was the Rochester Post-Bulletin, but I went back to like 1990. I traveled back in time in the DeLorean and went back.
Okay.
Walt's campaign manager told the Rochester Post-Bulletin he was, quote, not drunk, and attributed the misunderstanding to Waltz's deafness, an issue Waltz said was caused by his time in the National Guard that has since been surgically corrected. So clearly he didn't hear gunshots in anger while he was in the National Guard, since he chose to not go over to Iraq. But now is he really? He's not going to do this, is he? Blame his hearing on being at war.
That's bizarre.
Again, he could have had hearing issues and got them started. No one's questioning that. They're trying to make you feel bad, like, oh, he was in a war zone maybe. That's not it. And going back to the Tim Walz and the stolen valor stuff, him serving in the National Guard isn't the issue. It's him saying that he was in Iraq, that he was in Iran, and lying, and it being on video, and him not being there. Him deciding to leave the National Guard before his unit was deployed overseas in that area. Was he in Italy as the National Guard? I think so. Is that really a war zone? Not since the fall of Rome in 1943 or 44, which people don't remember. That was a couple days before the invasion of Normandy. That's why everyone forgets the fall of Rome. All right, where are we at here? Okay, let's just assume him and Walz and Kamala win this November. Is this what the country needs? Another vice president or president that's hard of hearing and apparently can't discern the difference between going 96 and 55 on the road? Is that what you want? Is that what? At least he won't be driving anymore, I guess. I don't know. All right.
What is it about these people when they get a little bit of power or fame or whatever, and they feel the need to drive 100 miles an hour?
I know.
I just don't get that. I don't have that urge.
No, never. Unless I'm like super late or something. My speed on the highway is about 80 mile an hour.
Right.
When it's 65, I go about 10, 15 over. I hate the 55 because then, once you get like 70, 75,
right.
You risk, and that's a big penalty. Good.
And I was just going to say that it's crazy. It's really crazy to me, man, because...
Well, no, I feel like what you're getting at, like, we pay a fine and they don't have to pay a fine and they get the speed. And it is legal. If you're a senator or whatever, you get pulled over, you're not getting a ticket.
I'm sorry. Where I was going with that, Joe, is it's not just politicians. It's with athletes. It's with movie stars. It's with whoever. They get in that position and you hear, wow, they got in an accident going 100 miles an hour. They got pulled over going 120 miles an hour. I don't possess that gene.
Yeah, like Donald Trump said, when you're famous enough, they let you just do it.
Yeah.
He was talking about something totally different. But okay, we're going to take a break. When we return, though, we're going to stick with Tim Walz. Apparently, according to Tim Walz, white men can't jump or cook. This exchange was worse than when Hillary Clinton pulled out a bottle of Frank's Red Hot at a black church. You're not going to want to miss this clip. Stay tuned. You're listening to Thinking Logic on 99.3 FM WBVP. It's Joe Corsi here from Thinking Logically to tell you about Beaver County's #1 realtor, Mark Gullah with RE/MAX Select Realty. With over 10 years experience, Mark knows all the ins and outs of the real estate business, so whether you're looking to rent, buy, sell, or swap your house, you can rely on Mark to take the hassle out. Mark Gullah of RE/MAX Select Realty, going above and beyond. Hey guys, it's Joe from Thinking Logically here to tell you about a company I've been using since I got my learner's permit. Grossi & Associates. Using their state-of-the-art equipment, Grossi & Associates offers collision repair for all makes and models, both foreign and domestic. There's a reason why they are voted Best of the Valley year in and year out. They are the collision experts. Grossi & Associates. Call today for a free estimate.
We at Beaver County Radio are entering our 77th year of high school football coverage on August 23rd with live audio and video coverage of Western Beaver at Ambridge. It's not too late for your business to get on board and become sponsor of the games through the WPIAL playoffs. There is no better way to support high school sports while highlighting your business during a high school football broadcast on Beaver County Radio. Packages and rates are available by calling 724-846-4100 or by emailing fsparks@beavercountyradio.com.
Do you like sports? Then tune in every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. for One Man's Opinion on Sports with Brian Pasquale.
Brian is loaded with statistics and interesting sports viewpoints. The show can also be seen on the WBVP-WNBA Facebook page. Plus, Brian will be taking your calls as well. That's One Man's Opinion on Sports with Brian Pasquale. Every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. on Beaver County Radio.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WNBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WNBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WNBA.
Welcome back to Thinking Logically here on 99.3 FM WBVP. Brought to you by So Fresh, So Clean Pressure Washing. Whether you need your house washed, driveway clean, patio done, fences, gutters, you name it, call Dave from So Fresh, So Clean Pressure Washing at 724-252-4489. That's 724-252-4489 today. They're fully insured and offer free estimates. So what are you waiting for? Don't be the outcast in your neighborhood with a dirty house or deck. Call So Fresh, So Clean Pressure Washing today. All right, before the break, we were talking about Kamala riding through deep blue Beaver County into Rochester and all the supporters that were out for her and the counter protesters and all that fun stuff. And then her running mate, Tim Walz, how he is just such a liar, will probably do or say anything to be elected or to have a job in government office where it's not a real paycheck. And that brings us to this next clip. Ryan, before you play, I have to ask you, are you a big chef? Do you cook for yourself, anything like that?
I like to cook. I wouldn't say I'm a big chef, but I'm okay at it.
Okay. Me, I'm very limited. There's my wife's, she cooks. I could do like filet, certain types of meat. Other than that, I'm like a short order cook where I could do like the breakfast stuff, stuff like
right.
that, whip that up really quick.
I kind of get I get in the moods to where, I see it on TV maybe, and then I have to do this. Yes. And then then I just go all to the wall and I 110% to making that meal happen. Then after it's over, I don't want to have anything to do with it ever again. But, I kind of get into those.
Mm-hmm. Would you ever put mayonnaise with tuna on a taco?
Mayonnaise with tuna on a taco. I like mayonnaise and tuna. I like tacos.
Maybe the Walz-Harris administration, this could get you to vote for him. Ryan, play the audio of White Men Can't Cook, please.
All right.
I have white guy tacos and
what is that? Like mayonnaise and tuna? What are you doing?
Pretty much ground beef and cheese.
That's okay. Do you put any flavor in it?
No. Here's the deal. No, they said to be careful and let her know that black pepper is the top of the spice level in Minnesota,
I'm the first vice president, I believe, who has ever grown chili peppers.
I'm trying to expand my food knowledge.
We've got some cantaloupes. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Now, hold on. Take a time out. Let that just process. I have to ask, how could this ticket win? So now white people don't use spices on their taco meat. Black pepper, Ryan, black pepper is the top of this. I have white friends that will freak out when they hear black pepper is the top of the spice level.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of white friends. This dude lies about everything. I think, I'm going to look this up before I came on. I think he won a cooking competition or something. I'm not joking.
Oh, really? Wow.
That would make him a terrible, terrible liar. I don't know. Maybe if you get a chance to look it up about Tim Walz cooking, I swear. Also, if you think about it, white people love spices. I mean, we started a trade war over this. The spice wars weren't just something that happened in Dune. Does everyone forget the years like 1400? What was Columbus looking for? Anyone out there? If you know what Columbus was looking for, call in. I think it was spices from was it the East Indies or West Indies? The price gouging got me so mixed up. North is south, east is west.
Maybe it was the price gagging that
got you. But do you hear how he sounds? He's
yes.
So just depressed and saying, no, we don't use spices. No.
She was like, you mean with tacos with mayonnaise? What was that?
I don't understand this at all. What did cantaloupe have to do with anything?
Yeah.
With a cantaloupe at the end.
Bizarre.
How could these people? Everything is about race and gender and this and that. Can't we just all be Americans? Why, white people do it like this. We don't use spices.
Right.
White people do it like this. So, again, like Hillary Clinton, are you going to pull Frank's Red Hot bottle out of your freaking purse next? Hold on, we may have a caller here.
Good. Hey, is this Dawn?
Just patch him through, Ryan.
I'm going to go ahead and push you right through, bud. All right, no problem.
Dawn. I'm good. How are you, sir? Yeah, we could tell. I love this. You make a great point. We could be anything we want to be now. Anything. Mm-hmm. You take care, sir.
Thanks, Dawn.
But he makes a good point about we have to, when we attack, mocking them is the way to go, I think. Making fun of them, laughing at them, pointing out all the areas where they are wrong, where they look foolish, because don't let them just call us weird. No, we're not weird. Okay. You're weird. You're weird.
I appreciate it.
What else? What do you got here? What's next? I wanted to get into the convention, Ryan. Like I said, everything's about race and gender and this and that. Look at this headline from today. I think it's the USA. Yeah, the USA Today. Black women are in charge at this year's DNC. It's just very divisive. It's not very unifying to me. The headline. I don't even know, because the USA Today free. They have a paywall. Black women have worked behind the scenes in Democratic politics for decades. More will be out front at the DNC. Okay. Sure, fine. If that's what floats your boat, again, everything has to be color, race, this, that. It can't just. It has to be that. All right. So the DNC convention started this morning in Chicago. I think at 8 a.m. they had a breakfast. It goes until Thursday. There's also a protest going on, but they're not that bad. No one's dousing themselves in gasoline and lighting themselves on fire. At least I have to say. Let's briefly go over some of the speakers, though. So tonight we will hear from Joe Biden, I think. And if you remember, he's the old guy that we haven't seen that much of the last 3 years. Now, he was the nominee, and everyone told us he'd be the nominee until he had one bad debate performance, and they made him step aside. Of course, that was conveniently after all the primaries took place. Also set to speak tonight is Governor Kathy Hochul. If you would like to hear Governor Hochul's speech, you can stream it online. However, if you're a black kid in the Bronx, I guess you have to watch it on C-SPAN or CNN or MSNBC or something like that, since you don't know how to use a computer. I think Hillary Clinton, is also speaking tonight. Makes you wonder who she will be killing, who will wind up dead. I know her husband Bill's birthday is today, I believe. I don't know how old he is. He's speaking Wednesday. Obama is Tuesday night, though. And Tim Walz is going to speak on Wednesday, unless, of course, he was lying about that as well. And Thursday will be Kamala. Who knows? Montel, maybe they're an introducer. I have no idea. But where it's being reported, neither Barack Obama or Joe Biden will be staying at the DNC to hear Kamala Harris's acceptance speech. Now, Ryan, jump in if you want. I could see Joe Biden not being able to attend till Thursday because he's like that. You have a small kid. He can't stay up that night. You're at a party. You got to take him home.
Yeah.
He's falling asleep on your shoulder. You got to get him home. But Barack Obama, this is his party. He could give them a giant boost by giving a speech even Thursday or being the one to introduce Kamala. Why would they not pick him? You're not going to have an answer because I don't. Someone has to have an answer, though. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, looking at it, I mean, just from a strategic point of view, where you're not trying to take sides, you look at the Democrats, you would think, okay, Obama, this would be a big moment for him to be there and talk about Kamala, and that's weird that they're not using him.
Yeah, especially when he's such a gifted speaker.
Absolutely.
Say whatever you want about Obama. He is a gifted speaker, and I think he would I'm not ashamed to admit, I think he would light it on fire and definitely get them a boost, or at least be able to fake a boost.
Absolutely.
Imagine leaving before hearing Trump's speech last month. How would the news have reported that? You gotta ask yourself. So, again, ask yourself lots of questions. Ask yourself this: is the DNC really unified here? Are they really all in for Kamala? I mean, hold on, let me pull this up because this just flew across the water. Even John Fetterman isn't attending. John Fetterman is skipping the DNC convention in Chicago because he just can't take the anti-Israel madness. Fetterman has no regrets about it, according to the Free Press? I believe that's the Free Press. Who's this? Yeah, John Fetterman skipping the DNC. Now remember, because of the Israel-Palestine thing, now remember there is a large contingent of their voting base currently marching through the streets of Chicago calling for, I believe, the death of Jews? Is that what?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a load of people out there. I don't know what the number is right now, Joe, but those streets are packed.
And it's weird because how unified can you possibly be whenever Fetterman's not showing up, no one's staying, they're just shuffling. Hulk Hogan. I mean, people stay. Hulk Hogan brought down the house. People still stayed. They still stayed. Trump was the main attraction. It seems like Kamala Harris, I don't think, is the main attraction. I think she's more of a circus sideshow that you just want to watch to see if she, does any freakish laughs or messes up. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. Are you going to watch it at all, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to check this out. I think that it's just so unpredictable, to be honest with you. I can't wait to see what happens, see how the just the whole convention goes. And I think, like I said, there's a lot of people standing outside protesting. This thing could be interesting, Joe.
It's like the Royal Rumble, like how it is now, where they'll bring back a few old wrestlers.
Yes,
and that's like
right.
Bill Clinton's going to be coming down. Who knows who grew up coming down the aisle. Hillary Clinton's coming back. A lot of the old team is coming back.
Yes.
And they're, remember Hacksaw Jimmy Dugan whenever he came out? I forget which Royal Rumble it is. It wasn't that long ago. And he's still in pretty good shape. But you could tell he's just like aged. That's what we're going to see a lot of tonight.
Right. That's their core. That's their core group, the Clintons and the Obamas. I mean, if you don't use those people, you're pretty dumb.
Yeah. All right. What else is going on here? Oh, how about this story? This literally popped up right. Actually, we'll save this one for the end. This is a good one. We'll save this one for the end. I wonder if there's going to be any stars or actors speaking this week. I haven't really heard of anyone, any musicians. I'm sure there are. But Ryan, did you know that I am actually an amateur historian?
Are you really?
Yes.
I did not.
When you think of actors, you think of the Greeks probably. Remember the happy, sad face mask?
Yeah,
Greek comedies, Greek tragedies, etc. Did you know how the Romans viewed actors, though, Ryan?
No.
See, Romans, they had a very different, less respectful view of them. In terms of social standing, actors were considered to be the same level or lower as laborers or slaves.
Oh, wow. Okay.
What's worse than actors, though? Having actors, musicians, and athletes at the DNC telling you how to think or how you should feel, though. What's worse than actors? How about social media influencers there, Ryan?
Wow.
What could be worse than actors? Social media influencers. Let me get the official number. I think it's over 200. Over 200 influencers at the event this week in Chicago that were granted access by the DNC with credentials. Typically, it's only given to the press, I think. The development comes as the Harris campaign and the DNC have been accused of paying influencers for support. Here we go again. It's fake. It's not real support. Where's the real support? To justify a fake grassroots bus tour through Beaver County? Influencers, aka people showing up that are there because they are paid to be there, are no different than actors, except they're probably cheaper. I mean, they have a lot of followers, but again, they're probably just cheaper. I'm going to read one thing here. This is from Unseen One on X, and then we're going to take a break. He thinks Trump did trap them with the debate. If Trump didn't trap the Dems into the debate debacle, they wouldn't have had to force Joe out as early as they did. They would have kept him hidden until the DNC, avoiding the month-long, very public civil war with their party, and then quietly used the threat of the 25th to force him out right before, during, or right after the nomination. Joe's team was expecting the attempt to force him out, and that's why they planned to give him the nomination a month early in a Zoom call using the Ohio ballot as a reason. But Trump, using their own hubris against him, accepted an unacceptable debate format and screwed it all up for both of the major factions in the Dem Party. Those who wanted to replace Biden had to come out publicly to do it. Biden's team had to actually try to show their guy wasn't a dotard. It took them a month, and finally they had to use their nuclear option to get Biden out. And it was out in the open for all to see. The Harris crowd was a month too soon. They weren't prepared, and they had no platform. They had no VP pick. They had no plan in place. So they had to hide for the last month while they did all of these things, which blunted their rollout. The enthusiasm of the replacement has been pretty much wasted without any follow-through. The fact they weren't ready allowed Trump campaign to define her and Waltz to Trump's base as many moderates, blunting any crossover support for the Never-Trumpers. They are still trying to patch the rifts in their own party from the public civil war. This wasn't supposed to be how they wanted, how it was supposed to roll out. Will it matter in the end? I don't know, but Trump is in a lot better position today than he would have been if they were allowed to follow their plan. There are two sides of this battle. Each have their own plans and strategies. So far, Trump's plan is working. Will the Dems be able to adapt? Who knows? That's why we have election season. That's a pretty good thing. It's pretty interesting. I don't know. But we're going to take a break. When we return, Thomas Crooks' body cremated after 10 days. 10 days after the assassination attempt for some reason. First, they have So Fresh, So Clean pressure washing. Washes blood off the roof within an hour. Now they cremate the body. What's going on? I don't know. Stay tuned. You're listening to Thinking Logic on 99.3 FM WBVP. Cash for your house. PGHbuyers.com. If you have an unwanted house but don't want the hassle of selling, visit PGHbuyers.com to see if PGHbuyers.com can help. No inspections and a fair cash offer. Visit PGHbuyers.com to sell that unwanted property for a fair price today.
Hey guys, it's Joe from Thinking Logically here to tell you about a company I've been using since I got my learner's permit. Grossi & Associates. Using their state-of-the-art equipment, Grossi & Associates offers collision repair for all makes and models, both foreign and domestic. There's a reason why they are voted Best of the Valley year in and year out. They are the collision experts. Grossi & Associates. Call today for a free estimate.
You know, when Joe Biden shuffles in front of the cameras to answer scripted questions during the day, he lies like Don King. But what you don't know is, when he goes to sleep at night, he lies like an Egyptian king because he uses MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Grown only in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River, its long staple cotton makes it ultra soft and breathable. Use the promo code LOGIC to maximize your savings on this amazing product. It's Joe Corsi here from Thinking Logically to tell you about Beaver County's #1 realtor, Mark Galla with RE/MAX Select Realty. With over 10 years experience, Mark knows all the ins and outs of the real estate business, so whether you're looking to rent, buy, sell, or swap your house, you can rely on Mark to take the hassle out. Mark Galla of RE/MAX Select Realty, going above and beyond.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Welcome back to Thinking Logically on 99.3 FM WBVP. I'm your host, Joseph Anthony Corsi, and we have new news about... By the way, Western Pennsylvania has been on fire the past 3 weeks with the Trump assassination. We got Kamala coming here. Trump's coming back in October. Wow. But they burned Thomas Crooks' body, apparently. So the FBI cremated Thomas Crooks' body. Again, we know nothing about this. The FBI couldn't find his messages or whatever it was. Then they may have found some messages that were encrypted, which is strange. He trained where the Department of Homeland Security and government employees train, same shooting range. A little bit weird. How much more information are we going to need before we can assume that the government or someone in the government was behind this assassination attempt? I mean, good.
Joe, not to cut you off,
No,
but this is something that I've seen that was mildly entertaining over the weekend. I had seen it a couple times on social media. It was worded like this: the Will Smith slapping Chris Rock got more attention and paid attention to longer than the attempt on former President Donald Trump. Yeah. And it's true. Yeah. How crazy is that?
Completely crazy. And that looked kind of staged, too.
You know what? I think that it was.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
Because there was one shot, and I know I'm going off the rails with the show here, but there is a shot where you could see from behind where they were sitting, and you could see her laughing as Chris Rock is telling the joke.
And if you stop it, he clenched his jaw a little bit like he knew it was coming. I mean, you would put your hands up, you would try to dodge something,
yes.
but...
Yes,
conspiracy.
I just actually learned this. I thought that it was strange, but I just seen that behind the view footage the other day, and I thought, wow, people still think it was real.
Yeah. Again, no surprise there. What's real, what's fake in 2024, impossible to tell. So he's at the same range of these people with the Department of Homeland Security. How much more information are we going to need before we can assume someone in the government? That doesn't have to be the government, but someone in the FBI maybe has it out for him, as Chuck Schumer would say. Remember, he said they have 6 ways to Sunday or 7 ways for Sunday to get you. It's all starting to come together now. It's all just in my head, just coming together. Well, again, we haven't gotten any information. Gee, I wonder why. Now, Crooks was cremated on July 23rd, just 10 days after the assassination attempt. This guy Crooks... Some 20-year-old nobody. You actually believe this guy managed to do this all by himself at this point? I mean, they can't find the guy's communications anywhere, but the FBI knows he acted alone, and then they cremated his body now. So according to a preliminary investigation report from, I think it's Clay Higgins, yes, the FBI cremated Crooks' body without telling anyone 10 days after that rally took place. And I'm quoting Clay Higgins now. My effort to examine Crooks' body on Monday, August 5th, caused quite a stir and revealed a disturbing fact. The FBI released the body for cremation 10 days after July 13th. On July 23rd, Crooks was gone. Nobody knew this until Monday, August 5th, including the county coroner, law enforcement, sheriff, etc. Yes, Butler County coroner technically had legal authority over the body. That's strange. But I spoke with the coroner, and he would have never released Crooks' body to the family for cremation or burial without specific permission from the FBI. The coroner's report and autopsy report are both, quote, late. As of Monday, August 5th, they were a week late. The problem with me not being able to examine the actual body is that I won't know 100% the coroner's report and autopsy report are accurate. We will actually never know. And that's coming from Clay Higgins. Are we ever going to know? They burned the body.
And there was so many other things involved. I mean, they're not coming up with any answers of the 3 different offshore banking accounts. I mean, something has to give you some answers somewhere. And the fact that they're not coming up with anything, I think, speaks volumes.
It's, again, I have no idea how it could be over a month. We're getting closer almost to, what is it, 8 weeks? 6 weeks? Something. And we have no information at all. Who was this kid? How did he get? It's all just, I don't know, confusion, conflicting stories. And this is the FBI, who doesn't have the best track record the past 9 years?
Yeah.
Something like that. Go all the way back to 2015. You have to. You have to. It's just,
they certainly don't seem as credible as they always have seemed, in our lives. It always seemed like, these guys are, they know what they're doing. These people seem like they're up to something.
Very lackadaisical. They don't really care. No information.
Yes.
And God forbid you show up to a school board meeting and didn't want your child to wear a mask, though. You'd be on a list, or had questions about who's using whose bathroom or stuff like this.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Where we got time? We got a lot of time. All right, let's cover this Trump trial here. For you others of you know, I can't remember September 17th or the 19th. I think it might be the 19th. Trump may be sent to prison or house arrest. We really don't know what's going to happen. This is all in Judge Merchan's hands. Granted, there was a Supreme Court ruling and everything. So in the filing today, it's listed that D.A. Bragg does not oppose Trump's request to delay his sentencing. He instead deferred to Justice Merchan. They note the new complex effect on the Supreme Court's immunity ruling, I guess. So Mike Davis is on X. Again, he was supposedly convicted, and then the Supreme Court ruling came out. They shouldn't be able to sentence him to prison. Who knows what could happen in this country now? I don't know, but this is from Mike Davis. Translation, Trump is not a convicted felon, Because he admitted evidence subject to the presidential immunity, Judge Juan Merchan must declare a mistrial. And people are arguing, saying he is a convicted felon until some court says he's not. And Mike Davis is saying, legal fact check, false. The jury found guilt, but the judge has not yet convinced and sentenced. That is a separate safeguard in our legal system to ensure there is sufficient fact and legal basis. So I think I'm going to make a prediction. Now, a few weeks ago, Ryan, I said that what you saw with Stephen Bannon, you're probably going to see Trump put on minimum house arrest. Maybe they jailed him for 30 days, do something. I don't think anything's going to happen. I think he's going to walk away completely scot-free from this now. Bragg it looks like he's playing hot potato with this. He just tossed it to Judge Merchan. This is the prosecutor tossing it to the judge. What's the judge going to do? Now, Bragg's basically saying he'll back Merchan. He'll back Merchan if he wants to go ahead with the sentencing, but I don't think he endorses the move here. So is Judge Merchan, going to risk making an enemy of Donald Trump when Donald Trump is more than likely going to be the 47th or 48th, who knows how Biden's going, president of the United States when he wins re-election? I mean, remember, there is an election in like 10 weeks. We should probably do something here, have some kind of like final answer. It's been going on all summer since before we started the show on the radio. It's absolutely ridiculous. Completely ridiculous.
Let me ask you this, Joe.
Good.
They kind of went after Donald Trump. I think that's safe to say, with all these legal things. Now, you could literally go after any politician and say, and probably find something enough to run them through the court system. Is the fact that the Democrats and Joe Biden and administration, does that say something about them? The fact that they actually did do this, they ran him through the system, knowing what was coming up, knowing election is coming up, knowing that it looks like you're doing this to drag this guy down. I mean, it doesn't seem very ethical in politics. But again, politics are.
But you wouldn't see it because for decades, they depended on the news to tell the right side of their story. They don't have that anymore. Ever since they lost Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, when Elon Musk purchased it, that was now an actual free speech platform. They only have Facebook. They're pretty much down to Facebook and Instagram is all they can control, and CNN, MSNBC, etc.
So what they did to this man was they ran him through the system with through the court system, and then the assassination attempt. Sorry, that's two things in my opinion that whether it was them or not, running him through the court system in an assassination attempt. That seems like something.
And the timing. Don't forget about the
timing.
Because as soon as the court stuff failed, that's when the bullets started flying.
Exactly. You couldn't have written it any better.
Nope, you could not have.
And it just makes you think of one of those, a foreign leader who goes to take out their opponent. And you always hear about these places. All those things will never happen here in America.
No, never.
That's the feel I get from this, Joe. I get that feeling that they threw everything they had at him. And it just doesn't feel. It doesn't seem fair. But what are you gonna do?
Eyes to be able to see. You have eyes to be able to see it, and ears to be able to hear it. But that's not enough. You have to have a mouth to be able to speak, to be able to conversate and tell, hey, this is what's happening. We gotta get out there. We gotta open up the conversation. They don't want us to talk about this stuff. They want us to it's politics. It's divisive. It's bread and circus. Remember.
How many times in your life did you hear, let's just say for an example, Saddam Hussein assassinated the person that was running against him? And again, I don't even know if that's, but for, just the sake of the story, you heard those things and you thought those are third world problems.
Never happened here.
Never happened here. We're but here it is,
we
Joe.
Don't gel political opponents.
This is, this is, in my opinion, as low as it gets.
Mm-hmm. Remember, they tell you that I don't want to say but Trump and MAGA, we're the Nazis, we're the fascists, we're going to lock everyone up once we're elected. They're telling you that, remember?
Yeah.
All right. This is from the New York Post. And get ready for this. I think we have some audio around this. So Biden is accused of abuse of power, obstruction, in a blistering House Republican impeachment report. This is hours away from the DNC speech tonight. This is going to be interesting. Play that audio of Biden when you get a chance. The Fox News audio.
All new this morning, House House Republicans finding President Biden and his family received more than $27 million from foreign individuals and entities since 2014. Lawmakers call it an impeachable conduct. Biden actively participated in a conspiracy by, among other things, attending dinners with his family's foreign business partners and speaking to them by phone, often when being placed on speakerphone by Hunter Biden. Republicans are calling out a 2014 dinner that Hunter Biden and his father attended with a Russian oligarch. After that dinner, the oligarch wired $3.5 million to Hunter Biden's firm. Now, this report says, quote, several witnesses testified that Hunter Biden invoked his father in business dealings with Romanian, Chinese, Kazakhstani, and Ukrainian companies, resulting in millions of dollars flowing to the Biden family.
Ukraine, and you wonder why we're sending billions. They send the Bidens millions, and Biden sends them back billions. Not a bad scheme in the thick of things if you're a Ukrainian oligarch, I guess. But you heard the audio. We've known this for months. Again, back to the you gotta have ears and you gotta have eyes. If you had ears, you had eyes. You were listening to a show like this. You were listening to someone besides the mainstream media. You've known about this for months, probably years even. So the question remains: why now? He's not the nominee. Why are we finding all this out now? Great job, but is it a distraction? Like I said, we know about the phone call with Hunter for over a year. So again, why now? Also, remember that one time they impeached Donald Trump over his phone call to Zelensky in 2019? Well, if you do, it looks like as if President Trump's call to Zelensky regarding Biden family corruption was 1,000% justified. How could it not be? All right.
And that's another thing, Joe. Just add that pile that on with the other things that we were saying, the assassination attempt, the running him through the system, and now that it's unbelievable what they're putting him through and what they would do to be able to stop him. And it's just crazy. He just keeps plowing through. So
they went after his kids. They don't go after him. Let me read this tweet from Julie Kelly on X. But they always went after Donald Jr. and Eric Trump. Never go after Hunter. And now today, this is from Julie Kelly. The impeachment confirms that D.C. U.S. Attorney Matthew Graves refused to partner with Special Counsel David Weiss to charge Hunter Biden with tax evasion. Joe Biden appointed Graves in November of 2021. He has since spent most of his time rounding up J6ers, promising to bring the total caseload to 2,000. His office continues to prosecute J6ers, announcing new arrests on a weekly basis. But there is more. Graves' wife, Fatima Goss-Graves, runs a $100 million radical left-wing nonprofit in D.C., and she's currently leading the fight to demand Clarence Thomas' resignation and expand the court. She has visited the Biden White House at least 40 times since her husband became D.C. U.S. Attorney. Again, this is almost like pay to play because you're getting a government salary to do this. They're all in with each other. All right, we're going to take a break. We come back. U-Hauls are at the White House? What can they possibly be picking up there? I don't know. Stay tuned. You're listening to Thinking Logical on 99.3 FM WBVP.
Beaver County Radio, your hometown radio station. You're listening live from the Fry Transportation Studios. Beaver County Radio and Fry Transportation, proud to call Beaver County home. The 77th season of high school football coverage on Beaver County Radio is fast approaching. Our Friday Night Lights coverage with Robert Mangino and Mike Azadian gets underway on August 23rd with a Week 0 matchup from Mo Rubenstein Stadium in Ambridge, as the Bridgers will play host to the Western Beaver Golden Beavers. The audio and video coverage gets underway at 6:30 p.m. for pregame, and kickoff is set for just after 7. You can watch the game on Facebook Live or on our YouTube channel. You can listen to the games on WBVP 99.3 FM and BeaverCountyRadio.com. High school football coverage on Beaver County Radio is brought to you in part by Tri-County McDonald's, I'm loving it, Falcone's Moon Township Ford, Freedom United Federal Credit Union, the Community College of Beaver County, Friendly Federal FCU, Fisher's New Brighton Foodland, Al's Pizza in New Brighton, Tri-State Sporting Arms, Drug Free Aliquippa, and Beaver County Radio.
The Band Jam Grassroots Music Festival, presented by Woodman Life at Cooper's Lake Campground in Slippery Rock, August 22nd through the 24th. Catch some of the best local music the tri-state area has to offer. Experience the beauty of Cooper's Lake Campground and the best that the outdoors have to offer. All for just a $30 entry ticket for the entire weekend. Tickets are $40 at the gate. 17 and under get in free. Camping is sold separate through Cooper's Lake. Get your tickets and all the information you need at thebandjam.com.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Welcome back to Thinking Logically here, 99.3 FM WBVP. We still got about 5 minutes left, and that gives us just enough time to break this story. U-Haul trucks spotted at the White House after Biden leaves for the DNC. And I have to ask, why U-Haul? Seriously, why the White House? They could have any moving company assist in delivering anything, right? There has to be a 3-letter agency connected to deliver stuff. Why U-Haul? Especially after all the issues Biden have with classified documents. There's a U-Haul truck. I mean, do they want people to see this? Do they want people to see that, hey, we might be moving Biden out of here? Are they trying to send a message? I don't know, but it's crazy. Is it not crazy, Ryan?
That is crazy. I was wondering what the U-Haul were about. I saw that on the news earlier today.
All right, speaking of crazy, guess who's back, Ryan?
Who's that?
The Branch Covidians.
Oh, geez.
CDC says very high COVID-19 levels reported in 32 states. Ryan, how do you test someone for COVID-19 these days?
Yeah, I don't even know.
What strain are we on?
Exactly.
I don't even know. Is anyone keeping track on if more vaccinated or unvaccinated are getting sick? Remember we do all this stuff?
Absolutely.
Trace, contact trace. We have all the numbers. If you were vaccinated, unvaccinated, how many shots you have. Show us your papers. And
Fauci, remember when Fauci come out, he said, all you got to do is get one of these and you won't ever get it. And then he comes out later and says, I had 8 of these boosters and I've just gotten it again. Who knows what to make of that? Who knows?
As long as masks don't come back, but they probably are with all the protests. You know when I realized masks were complete bull? I was at Dunkin' Donuts. This is my wake up COVID story. I think it was like late March or early April, and everyone was still wearing masks. And I didn't have a mask on. I was in the drive-thru, but everyone working in the Dunkin' drive-thru was wearing masks in the assembly line. And a nice young lady, she's making my sandwich. I'm watching her make my sandwich, and she sneezes into her arm. Achoo, achoo.
Yeah.
No, it's innocent, happens all the time. But what she did was, after she sneezed into her arm, she grabbed her face mask with her hand and put it right, and then continued to make my sandwich. And I said, these masks are more harmful than because if she didn't have the mask on, it happens all the time. You just, sneeze into your shoulder.
You're right.
But no, and then I watched her make the sandwich, go like that, press down on it, put it in the bag, and hand it to me. And I was like, yeah, I'm done with this COVID thing. I think it all might be a lie.
Do you pay for that extra on there? Or?
No. And it didn't get me sick, though, I guess.
Right. Well, my wake-up call was this. Whenever we were all, it was so important. Don't go to family occasions. Don't go to Christmas. Don't go to Thanksgiving. You will spread this. We're all going to die. And then a month later, you go to the Super Bowl or the national championship game, and that stadiums were jam-packed. Nobody had masks on. I thought something's got to give at this point,
Remember when they would play the instruments with the masks on and little holes in them? Fun times. All right, where are we at here? We still got about 3 minutes. Hold on, we could cover again the DNC. I can't wait to see Joe Biden walk out like a hungry, droopy-eyed child with no arms.
Well, who knows what Joe you're going to see?
He walks like he has no arms. They don't even swing. They just sit there.
They just hang there.
This is how out of touch I am with the new thing. So I was watching the DNC protest, and someone had a big sign that says legalization for all. I thought it was legal marijuana. Here, I looked it up. It's about making all illegals legal and making them citizens. That's where we're, I mean.
And you know what? And what they don't understand a lot of times, Joe, I hear in debates and arguments, it isn't that we don't want illegals. We just want it to be done lawfully. That's all. Mm-hmm. That's all.
Mm-hmm. All right, this is the story.
Where do you turn into the bad guy, Joe? When do we become the bad guy? When that's all we want is it to be done, right? Because we have to do it right.
We've been allowed to be identified as the bad guy by the media. That's why.
Absolutely.
I like being the bad guy. Razor Ramon, bad guy.
Hey, right?
Yeah. All right, now at the DNC tonight, it's all week, but what is happening tonight across the country? I think it's across the country. A rare blue supermoon will appear in the night sky on August 19th. I think that's tonight.
Yeah.
It will appear 6.2% bigger and 12.8% brighter than the average full moon. Supermoons, for those wondering, occur when the moon's orbit is closest to Earth at the same time the moon is full. So we got a full moon, which usually crazy things happen.
Yeah.
And also a blue moon. Great song by I think it was the Marcells. And the Democrat convention happening under a full blue moon. Something.
I didn't even make that connection.
Something's going to happen, I think. I'm a little bit nervous. So it goes to Wednesday. We won't be here tomorrow or Wednesday, but we will be back here on Thursday. We're going to be here with a very special guest. Tom Young, our very own. Can I say it's our very own Tom Young
absolutely.
from First Consulting, going to be joining us to talk about financial markets, maybe precious metals, cryptocurrency, maybe cryptozoology. Who knows what we're going to even get into?
I got to tell you, Joe, I'm gonna break it. I'm gonna give a little bit of a information. I've done shows with him. Tom is great. You're gonna love him, and I gotta. If you listen to this show, tell people tune in that day because it'll be worth it.
And it's perfect timing too, because with the financial markets the way they are,
Yes.
honestly, I was expecting to have him on. I think right after Labor Day, but I was like, we gotta be sooner. Who knows what could happen after that little flub that happened in whatever it was, late July, early August.
He's a wealth of knowledge. The guy has so much knowledge. I can't.
And we're
wait.
gonna get into maybe Federal Reserve.
Yes.
1913. Maybe we'll even talk about the Titanic and who was killed on that.
Well,
it's going to be so fun.
Well, you know the numbers and the money, and he knows numbers and money. I'm going to feel like the dumb guy in this conversation.
I'm
but
sure
I
he'll
can't
make
wait.
me feel dumb too. I pretend to know about money. So, all right. We got to go here. We'll be back Thursday, 5 to 6 p.m. And every Monday and Thursday here right on your own 99.3 FM WBVP. Listen on the St. Barnabas app. Listen on Facebook Live. Listen on YouTube, Beaver County Radio's YouTube page. I promise you will love this show. It's election season. We are in the thick of it. DNC ends on Thursday night. And after that, it's the fourth quarter of this election season, ladies and gentlemen. That'll be all. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Joe Corsi. You're listening to Thinking Logically on 99.3 FM WBVP.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host.